Oh God, you're sick.
Oh no, it's happened.
And you're not 6 feet away from me. How dare you?
Kiss me. Kiss me.
No, I mustn't. It's against the law now.
This whole experience has just been so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I've enjoyed it all.
We took a long ass break for no reason, and then we took an even longer break because we had a reason, and we're not even following it. We're not even listening to the law.
It's funny to see how progressively worse it's got, because at first it was just like, oh fuck it, let's just make some memes. We'll be alright.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, it's like, fuck, we're on lockdown.
Like, we're on lockdown.
You need an excuse to go to work. You have to show cop paperwork saying, here, I'm going to work. It's okay.
It's kind of fucked up. Like, we're literally living in a historical event right now. And I really wish we weren't. This is terrible.
For the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Years down the road, I'll be explaining to my kids, like, so basically there was this thing called fucking Corona.
COVID-19.
As I'm sipping a Corona.
Yeah, as you're sipping a Corona. Like, wow, Grandpa, you're a badass. Like, yeah, pretty much.
I'll be like every other grandparent that hypes up the experience.
Mm-hmm.
People were fucking looting in the goddamn streets. It was fucking wild.
Yeah, you see, now boomers can't shit on us anymore for not doing anything. We survived COVID-19. Thanks to our Apple products. And alcohol.
Thanks to FaceTime.
Thank God.
And free premium.
Oh, on that note, welcome back, motherfuckers. I hope you missed us, and probably most of you forgot we existed. Which is okay.
All 20 of you.
All 20 of you
forgot about us.
But hey,
How
we
could
appreciate the shit out of whoever's gonna stick with this.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
so, among this virus, which we really don't want to talk too much about because that's all anyone's talking about, we decided there's something else that everyone was talking about.
Our Lord and Savior, the hero that's brought us all the light.
Yes.
Tiger King.
Tiger King. AKA Redneck Game of Thrones. It's basically what it is.
I was sad. I was depressed. I hadn't showered in 3 weeks. And then this homosexual gun-toting man comes onto the screen.
Try God.
God comes onto the screen. And he cheers me up.
He is Joe
He
Exotic,
motivates me.
The Tiger King. What a fucking show. Like, every time someone's like, watch this thing, I'm like, I don't know if I want to. It's like, maybe I'll like it. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't stop watching.
I feel, no, because whenever I would see advertisements where I'd see anything, I'd hear about it.
Yeah.
I just saw this guy that was running around with tigers, and I was like, that looks like a really shitty, like, children's documentary about how tigers live in captivity. And, like, I don't want to hear more depressing shit. Like, did you know that more tigers live in captivity than in the wild? It's like, yes, I think about that a lot. That's fucking sad. Didn't want to be brought up by it.
No. Not even about the tigers, about the people.
Next thing you know, it's a guy shooting shit in the middle of a fucking lake, blowing it up.
Yeah.
You want my watch? Here, bitch! And then throws it into the lake.
Runs for president. Good Lord.
And then he goes, fuck it. I'll just be a governor.
I'll be governor. Got 20% of the votes, too. That's America right there. That's America. That is America to an A.
That is the American dream.
No, but, so yes. Tiger King, Murder, Madness, and Mayhem, or whatever the fuck that subtitle is. It's, even if you fuckers know what it is, it's spawned countless memes. It's trending and whatever on Netflix right now. Netflix continues to fucking kill it, as normal.
You know, I'll just come out right and say it. I almost feel bad for a murder. I feel bad for Carol Baskin.
I don't feel bad. Oh my God. Okay, first, we're starting there, okay? So, for those of you who don't know, somehow, Tiger King is about these tiger owners. They're tiger breeders. They own these zoos, and they basically let people come in and cuddle with the little cubs. Then the cubs grow up, and you go, what the fuck do you do with these cubs? And these zoos are huge, and these people are rich, even though they dress and act like fucking rednecks, which shocks me. But they make a lot of money from it. They're doing well. And it's this weird-ass world of these weird-ass people.
And kind of on the deeper side, a lot of it, it really starts off quite simple of, all right, so here's this guy. He's trying to promote and he's trying to educate people about tigers. And that's generally what I thought it was going to be at first. Right. And then PETA gets involved. And one specific person from PETA gets involved. And she starts talking about, equal rights for the animals.
Yep.
And talking about how he was essentially using them just for profit gain rather than for education. And then it goes into this horrible spiral of just regular business talk, ethics talk, to shit. She might have thrown her husband in a fucking meat grinder.
Killed her husband. So, yeah. I feel like we all kind of agree that Carol might not be the most altruistic woman. But no, at the head of this is, of course, Joe Exotic. He's kind of the through character. I guess main character they follow through. And it's such a weird story. Like, you gotta see this shit for yourself at the end of the day. Like, I rewatched Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, and I was like, you can't explain this shit to someone. They have to watch it. Same thing here. You have to watch it. Like, this is more for people that have seen it, so, Carol, she definitely did it. She did it. There's no way. There's no way you'll convince me that she did not feed her husband.
A part of the show that I really like too is that they touched on many different things. Like, one thing that they touched on for a while is how much these employees of the Tiger King, his specific zoo, how much their people are getting paid each week. And I believe in one part, Carol was shitting on it, being like, "Oh, they only get paid like $100 a week, and they live in these shitty trailers." And then they kind of trailed off for a little bit. And about 20 minutes later, she started discussing about how her employees got paid. Well, they get paid in brainwashing and t-shirts. So every few months you get a new t-shirt and you're like, all right, here you are.
Wonderful.
You're doing well. Another 4 months. Here's your fucking gold t-shirt. We love you. What's your name again?
Yeah, Carol, she's definitely not the nicest. She's the worst one. And I know Jeff Lowe is probably followed by second, but of the people we saw in this show, she's probably the worst, followed by Jeff. But in any case, it's like, it's so weird that these people are in this strange little bubble, you know? Like, it's like their own little world, and they're out, like, they're out trying to take business from each other and betray each other. It's redneck Game of Thrones. I don't know how else to say it. It is literally these powerful with quotes, people who think they're gods going after each other, and caught in the middle are these fucking animals that are like, well, we're just animals, we can't do shit about it, and they're all, you know, it feels like they're losing at the end of the day. Like, no matter who wins this, the animals, they get screwed over the most.
Oh, they definitely get hurt the most. And I think something that's really fucked up too is that you see, like, okay, well, I need to pull in an extra 10 grand a month is one example that they use in the show. How do I come up with this money? Let's just breed more fucking tigers.
Yeah.
We'll just breed more and then sell them for $2,000. So anyone can literally just go to this place and go, I want a fucking tiger. And then they leave with what's soon to be an 800-pound tiger that can rip someone's face off.
And they, you know, will they be able to feed it or will they just kill it?
And it's crazy too, because prior to this, I know me specifically, you probably haven't either. I've never heard of that zoo. I've never heard of anything that happened down there.
I didn't even know this world.
Never heard of any of the people.
This community of, like,
all of
tiger people. Who knew they were so interesting to watch?
And
who knew?
Who knew it'd be such good reality TV?
It is.
But who would have thought that you had communities like that built into our current society? You would never assume that that crazy shit could still happen anymore.
Oh my god.
Or someone owns 300 tigers in their backyard and they turn it into a zoo. The guy came from nothing.
Yeah. Insane.
What do you think? We have a friend, speaking specifically about Joe.
Mm-hmm.
We have a friend, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know.
Who fully believes there is no evidence.
Okay, well, let's talk before, like, what happened to Joe. So, there's a bit of a spoiler alert for the show, if you don't know, but it's fucking history. So, Joe Exotic is the main character. We're following him mostly through this. And as he's doing this shit, he ends up trying to go up against Carol, who is a bigger person in terms of the tiger owning than him. She's got more money, more power. She's more ruthless. Being her husband to tigers. And he goes up against her trying to prove that she killed her husband and stole his fortune, stole his zoo, stole his tigers. And she just kind of ends up finding small loopholes and just sues the shit out of him to destroy his life. So as he's doing this, he ends up losing a lot of money. His family loses money. Anyone connected to him gets like really screwed over by her.
It is important to know as well that a lot of the legal battles that they had, it wasn't even necessarily, yep, he threatened me. This man had a literal blow up sex doll.
Yeah.
And blew the thing's head off.
Yeah.
And pretended it was her.
And put it on the
The guy
internet
is
for
nuts.
all to see.
And put it on his show.
Yeah.
On what, YouTube or
Yeah.
maybe his site.
He wanted to be
To show
famous,
everyone.
and so he used this as one of his many, many fucking
But
platforms.
I
to
believe,
get
and
famous.
I might be remembering incorrectly, but I believe a lot of the legal battle was purely for the initial
font.
change of his symbol,
Yeah, because
the
he
font.
wanted to piss them off, so he changed his company or whatever his name to like Big Cat Entertainment, and theirs was, and Carol's was
Big Cat
like
Rescue.
Yeah, Big Cat Rescue, just to piss them off. And she got the font, I believe, in like a picture from their website, and was like, "That's ours. We're suing you." And she continued to pursue that until he ended up being like so desperate. He ended up working with another guy named Jeff Lowe, this pretend billionaire who tricked Joe into giving him his zoo, and then Jeff just immediately works to kind of screw him over and move him out of his own place, you know?
It's important to know as well
fucked up.
that him and Joe and Jeff weren't really even friends. They
No.
weren't even necessarily associates. There was actually a beginning, and I can't remember the guy's name. He's referenced as the fucking Chucky doll
Yeah,
in the show.
I remember.
But Joe contacted him. The guy even said, "We're not friends. We were just friendly with each other back in the day."
Mm-hmm.
It was his associate.
Mm-hmm.
Joe is so desperate to get out of all of this legal battle
Yeah.
that he signs everything over into Jeff's name in the hopes that he's the savior and he's going to save everything.
And he thought he was, and he looked like it. This dude loved tigers as well. He used them to get laid in Las Vegas. He had a mansion. What Joe didn't realize was the guy rented the mansion to pretend he was rich. And then he stole Joe's business and kind of screwed him over. Now, what happens is, the final thing that we're talking about in terms of Joe is that, again, spoiler, Joe, spoiler for real life, Joe goes to prison for 22 years because he's convicted of several crimes, including allegedly, or well, he's convicted, but still, allegedly conspiring, was it, to murder Carol, conspiring to hire someone to kill Carol Baskin, and Jeff and several other associates that knew Joe kind of ratted him out and worked as informants to basically put him in jail. And the big question has been, did they entrap him and wrongfully get him arrested for 22 years, taking that away from his life? Or did he kind of just walk into it in himself? Because Joe's a crazy nut. Like, the dude's insane.
Absolutely.
He's completely nuts. He's incredibly eccentric. But he's probably the one that has, like, the biggest heart out of all the Tiger people. Even though he does shady shit, like burn records and shit like that.
Someone that we haven't talked about, and we'll go back to the original of Joe being prosecuted, but someone that we didn't talk about, you were saying biggest heart, we didn't talk about Doc.
No, we didn't talk about Doc.
And
he's kind of irrelevant for a lot of the show, but yeah, tell me.
He is relatively irrelevant for most of it. The only thing that really happened to Doc towards the end is Joe, after everything, said, well, I'm going to let a lot of people know about the rest of the Tiger community.
Yeah.
If I go down, the rest of you are going down with me.
And he did, and they did as well.
It is kind of interesting to note as well that it's not spoken, but you get this general vibe throughout the show that the Tiger community that is not PETA, or the people that are in PETA, you understand that they know what things are going on. Like general thoughts of euthanasia or mistreatment of their associates. You kind of see that coming the whole way through. And in a weird, in my opinion, kind of a weird turn, is they actually had one of Doc's old quote-unquote girlfriends, quote-unquote associates, come in and give her explanation of how Doc supposedly, tried to manipulate her into staying and marrying him for 30, 40 plus years, like some of the other girlfriends that he has.
Yeah.
But
It's
just weird
crazy.
turn of events.
It's insane. Like, this whole world, like, the people that own all the Tigers, and Joe's kind of included in this, are all these narcissistic children.
The reason why I initially brought up Doc to begin with was some of the charges to allow Joe to get the full 22 years, a lot of it was because during the court battles, conspiracy was one of the things, conspiracy to have Carol murdered.
Yeah. But
another thing that was brought up, and it was brought up only a few days prior to him being prosecuted, was, hey, by the way, you might have killed some tigers.
Yeah, they searched his land, dug up a lot of shit. They discovered that there were like 5 dead tigers buried there, and he did euthanize them. And even some of his workers who, at the time, as everything was collapsing around Joe, his people were like, yeah, he euthanized them. But the question was like, why? And it was kind of not really resolved, I don't think.
No.
But it's weird. And I think just solidifies the fact that the animals lose in this whole thing.
Yeah.
They're the ones who lose the most. And one man went to jail for 22 years. But
a lot of
they're
other
all...
people probably will, too.
There's a line where it's like, the Tiger King is in a cage. That is ironic. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking ironic. But he did it too, and Carol does it, and Jeff maybe still does it. He's not conned his way into oblivion.
Doc doesn't.
Doc
manipulates people. He manipulates women. He manipulates everyone he can get his hands on.
There's so much more that we haven't even gotten into. Like, you guys, if you have not, watch this goddamn documentary. It is 7
It's 7 episodes.
7 40-some minute episodes that are going to just... You won't be able to stop. We watched it in one
day.
One night. Like, 2 o'clock in the morning, we were done. We're just, like, still theorizing and talking about what the hell
It was funny. It was one of the documentaries that we watched that the friend that we were saying, he would intentionally be like, all right, pause it. We got to talk about all this. We talk about for 20 minutes and then keep moving forward.
But he believes Joe is more innocent. Like, he's like, he's one of the people who thinks Joe got screwed over. He was entrapped. Like, these guys should be in jail, not Joe. And that's fine. Like,
there's so many questions of, okay, Joe burnt half the computers that he had.
Yeah.
It's alleged that he probably burnt down the area where all of the computers were kept for his TV show.
Yeah, this guy was trying to produce a reality show about Joe's life years ago. And then Joe learned that he probably isn't going to profit off this. This guy probably has contracts saying that he has whatever he wants. So it's allegedly, Joe may have burned down the studio to stop those tapes from getting out.
And also killed some animals along the way.
So it's like, it's hard to say. Like, this is the interesting thing. No one in this show is portrayed as a hero. Like, they all get introduced, and at first you like them. You're like, all right, these guys are weird. And then you feel bad for them. But then the show gets into facts about them. And you're like, holy crap, these guys might not be as good as I thought. And that's interesting. I like that because I think the fact that these people are so eccentric helped this show because they were all willing to be like, oh, a Netflix show or a documentary, I would love to talk about myself for hours and have myself plastered onto a show on a streaming service, because now we get all these different points of view and you're able to kind of decide.
Along with all that, there isn't a Netflix show that's currently out right now or any show that I could think of that is in the midst of still a legal battle that's going on.
Yeah, it's still happening. Like, this is recent. Is like he was arrested in 2018, 2019, around then.
Somewhere in there.
It's like, it's super recent, and I'm sure more crazy shit's coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years from now, when they have more material to work with, season 2 may be on the way. But yeah, like, I think I compared this a little bit to Making a Murderer, because I didn't finish Making a Murderer, but I watched some of the first season, and from what I saw, I liked it, but I kind of got the feeling that the filmmakers were clearly on the side of the dude who was in trouble, and in some cases rightfully so. But at the same time, it's like this guy they're kind of being a bit one-sided at times. And I, again, didn't finish it, but this felt more like it showed everyone as much as they could from all these very arrogant, very exotic people, and they all gave as much information as they wanted to. Normally in, like, series like this, there's, like, a point when shit gets real, and they're like, we tried to question this person, but they would no longer talk to us. Never. They talk to them to the very end, and I love that, because it's like these people, they're such in their little bubbles that, like, even when they get arrested, they're still talking. Like, Joe's in prison on the phone, getting recorded, knowingly, probably, talking about what's happening and just like, this person screwed me over, this person's a piece of crap, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna feed him my tiger's bear. You know.
And that's what makes it so difficult as well, because how many times did Joe make comments about murdering?
Yeah.
And the only thing that they have is true proof, because I assume a lot of that goes under freedom of speech, is emails back and forth with that weird dude with the fucking teardrop tattoo.
Yeah.
Of, hey, you need to go down to Florida. An interesting thing that I think might turn a little bit, or you might at least hear more about, is that supposedly in the courtroom, under oath, he said that he did travel down to Florida and he was about to act out in murdering Carol because Joe asked him to.
Oh shit, I missed
In the documentary itself, he did admit, I never got down to Florida.
conflicting information.
Exactly. And
Crazy.
you're lying under oath.
It's crazy shit.
I would assume, and this is my very limited knowledge of law,
Yeah.
I would assume not a mistrial, but I would assume that that would have to be looked at again.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Scary thing is, though, is that it happened, what you said, 2018, maybe 2019.
Yeah.
It's 2020. Why wasn't that discussed further? Why didn't we hear anything about it?
Well.
Not in the show itself, but at least in news.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it just, like, I think it might have been because we just slipped our radar. I didn't even know this guy ran for president. Like, the 2016 election, back in 2016, he ran as an independent and obviously lost, but, like, no one knew about
2014.
who this guy, or whatever, he ran whenever this lunatic ran. Good lord. But, yeah, I mean, another reason is perhaps that everyone's talking about a certain virus made from eating bats. But, no, yeah, it's something else, man. You gotta watch this show. It's just something
Make
else.
the time go by faster and stay the fuck inside.
Yeah, stay inside.
We don't need more cases.
Watch this show. And you know what? If that's not enough for you, once you watch the show, look up some memes, because they got some good damn memes from the show. It's so memeable.
It's gonna ruin me financially forever.
No.
Just like this virus,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Honest to God. Couldn't match made in heaven, this show and this virus. But no. That's all I got.
That's what you
about
guys
this.
do. Stay inside, play some Xbox, eat some fucking flaming hot Cheetos, watch some Tiger King.
Watch Tiger King. It's redneck Game of Thrones. It's all I can call it. And it's a fitting title, in my opinion. They're only missing incest. That's the only thing they don't have. Murder, betrayal. Instead of dragons, they have tigers.
And always remember, God bless America, and God bless Joe Exotic.
Hell yeah. Thank you for listening.